Hi, my name is Joram. I'm the founder and CEO of Dealroom, and in this video I will show you how you can use the new funnel dashboard. We also released this last year, but it's been massively expanded, so it made sense to do a new video. The startup funnel is really a signature Dealroom tool to measure ecosystems from, let's say, the beginning of the startup births, all the way to the bigger outcomes and gigantic companies that are being created and everything that happens in between. And this is a great way to measure the performance of an ecosystem, to benchmark different ecosystems by maturity, etc. And this is really useful for everyone on the platform. So it's useful, obviously, for ecosystem builders to learn about what works and what doesn't. But it's also used by investors and other stakeholders. For example, if you want to know where new founders are being born. So let's first look at the funnel itself. So this is the kind of the main page of this new dashboard, and it is literally a funnel. So at the very top, you can see where new founders are coming from. So in this case, Stanford, MIT, Berkeley, Harvard, but also, as you say, in Paris, for example, are the biggest contributors. But you can also, so this is looking at it by university, which you can expand here if you like. But you can also look at old economy companies, so McKinsey, IBM, Accenture. These are big sources of new founders, big tech companies, Microsoft, Booking, Tencent, accelerators, obviously, like Y Combinator, and unicorns. Everybody wants to know which new founders are coming out of unicorns, like Revolut. Rocket Internet, if you still remember them. There's a ton of people with a background at Rocket who are to this day also still founding new companies. And you can look at all time or just focus on what happened this year. So that's the top of the funnel. Then comes the main funnel itself, where you can see the flow of new startups, the pool of startups that have actually gotten funding. So you can see at each stage how many startups there are in the world. And with this little drop down, you can also zoom in on specific regions, such as Asia or Middle East and North Africa. You can also, instead of treating as outcome unicorns and decacorns, you can also click on this little icon to see where the thoroughbreds are. So these are companies with more than 100 million in revenue. On these buttons here, there are also a couple of other ways to look at the data, for example, by geography. So here you can see the United States leading by not only the number of startups founded, but also by the number of bigger outcomes. From top to bottom, from flow of new startups, pool of funded startups to breakout scale-ups, you can see on the right-hand side the conversion or graduation rates between the rounds. We'll get into that in a second. Then below the funnel, you can see the big outcomes, so the value creation. Where is the most value created? Where is the most growth? So enterprise value growth. Here, for example, Argentina and Brazil are in the lead when you count from 2015, but you can also change the time frame and you see different countries emerging. I think it's really interesting that the US is actually leading when you count since, let's say, the latest market correction in 2022, because most of the world is still recovering from that correction, whereas the US is like far ahead of where it was a few years ago. More here on outcomes, more here also on graduation rates. But there is more, so you can also then dive into specific locations. So for example, here you can see how these graduation rates look like and how the funnel is successful or not across different locations, same for sectors. And there's a lot more here. I think the easiest way to show it to you is by going back now to the homepage. And from here, you can type in any location that you have in mind. So, for example, maybe you're interested in France, and then boom, you can see what the funnel looks like in France. So you have an annual startups being founded number of 5,000, of which 32% get funded. So about 800 startups a year get funded. There's a pool of about 5,000 startups at the seed or Series A stage, almost 1,000 breakouts in France, 61 unicorns, 2 decacorns, which are Mistral and Neoen. Here you can see the total enterprise value that turns into, comparing the enterprise value with similarly sized ecosystems and also growth. And again, here you can also change the time horizon. And then there's this visualization, which I think is really helpful because that really tells you what the France ecosystem looks like by industry and where the outcomes are. So you can see financial management solution, biotech, CRM, but you can change it also to other ways to kind of slice and dice the data. We also added, because we're in the beginning of the year, this kind of handy overview, 2025 in review. So if you want to specifically know what happened last year, you want to go here. You can see the funnel, but you can see also what was added to the funnel last year. So there were almost 2,000 new breakouts, 364 new scale-ups, 242 new unicorns, and 51 new decacorns. And here you can see in which sectors those new unicorns came. You can also switch to decacorn. Here there's a map where you can also see where the new thoroughbreds were created. So this overview kind of gives you a snapshot that you can also see for any individual location or sector. So there's a lot here. I would recommend to start exploring just by any location or sector that you know. Artificial intelligence, for example, and say I want Europe. So this is the European AI ecosystem where we can see 1,500 startups founded per year and about 800 getting funded. And again, here you can see, for example, what that looks like in Europe by subsector within AI. So you have generative AI, ML ops, AI drug discovery, 6 unicorns, etc. That's the funnel. Very, very powerful tool. And we would love to walk you through it and see how you can make it work for you. Thank you.